Have you ever been on a plane and wondered if the stranger sitting beside you might have a story powerful enough to stop even the skies in silence? This story isn't about fame, money, or medals. It's about quiet greatness, the kind that hides behind a simple smile until destiny calls it forward. She boarded her flight like everyone else that day. Just another traveler, just another seat number. But when two F-22 Raptors locked eyes on her call sign, the entire sky saluted. Stay with me till the end of this story, because what happened at 32,000 feet will give you chills. And before we take off, you're watching Grow for Justice, where stories of courage, sacrifice, and truth take flight. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell icon, because the next story might be the one you never forget. The airport was busy that morning, crowded, impatient, and alive with the rhythm of departures. Gate 27 buzzed with the usual chatter of travelers juggling phones, coffee cups, and boarding passes. Among them was a woman named Captain Laura Bennett. But today, she wasn't a captain. She wasn't even Commander Bennett, as her old squadron once called her. She was simply Passenger 14C on Flight 918 to Seattle. She wore jeans, a gray jacket, and sunglasses that hid the faint scar above her right eye, a scar that told more stories than words ever could. To anyone looking, she was ordinary. But to those who once flew under her command, she was a legend, a ghost of the sky, a pilot whose name was whispered in training halls for her impossible missions. Laura hadn't flown a fighter jet in 5 years. After losing her co-pilot and best friend in a mission gone wrong, she had left the Air Force quietly, disappearing into civilian life. The roar of engines had haunted her dreams, the call sign Valkyrie, 7 echoing through every nightmare. Today's commercial flight was supposed to be simple. A new job, a new start, just another flight. The plane taxied out onto the runway, engines humming like a lullaby. Passengers fastened seatbelts. A mother hushed her crying baby. A businessman muttered about meetings. And Laura closed her eyes as the aircraft lifted into the clouds. Up, up, into the same sky she had once ruled. But destiny wasn't finished with her yet. 0.2 hours into the flight, as the jet cruised over restricted airspace, the captain's voice came through, calm and professional. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be encountering a brief escort due to military training in the area. Nothing to worry about. Passengers murmured with curiosity, pressing their faces against the windows. From the left side of the aircraft, 2 gray shadows appeared, sleek, sharp, and impossibly fast. F-22 Raptors. Phones came out. Cameras clicked. Are we being escorted? Someone laughed. But Laura's heartbeat quickened. She knew those silhouettes, the precision of their movement, the invisible authority in their flight path. This wasn't a drill. Something, or someone, had caught their attention. Through her window, one Raptor tilted its wing, its pilot clearly observing the passenger jet. Laura felt a chill crawl up her spine. The aircraft's transponder blinked, a code flashing across the radar systems of those F-22s. Then came a voice over the radio in the cockpit. This is Falcon 2, confirming visual on, call sign Valkyrie 7. Repeat, Valkyrie 7 confirmed on manifest. The captain of the commercial jet froze, his hand hovering over the radio. Say again, Valkyrie 7, the voice repeated. We have her on board. Laura's name, her old call sign, hadn't been spoken in years. She leaned forward in her seat, realizing the truth. Somehow, the military escort had recognized her. The flight attendants whispered among themselves, confusion spreading through the cabin. One of them approached Laura cautiously. Ma'am, the captain would like a word with you in the cockpit. Passengers looked up as she stood. Some assumed she was crew, others thought she was in trouble. None of them knew they were about to witness something extraordinary. Inside the cockpit, the pilots stared at her in disbelief. Captain Bennett, the first officer said quietly, the Air Force confirmed your ID through the manifest. Those F-22s, they're asking permission to make visual contact. Laura hesitated. Her instinct screamed to say no, to stay hidden. But something in her heart, something she'd buried long ago, made her nod. Patch them through. The radio crackled again. This is Falcon 1 to Valkyrie 7. Ma'am, it's an honor. Permission to approach for salute. The air inside the cockpit felt electric. The commercial captain looked at her, unsure what to say. Laura exhaled slowly, her voice steady for the first time in years. Permission granted. The F-22s drifted closer, their wings gleaming in the sun. Passengers gasped. The jets weren't threatening. They were graceful, reverent, almost protective. Then, in a moment that no one aboard would ever forget, both Raptors tilted in unison, performing a slow wing salute toward the passenger plane. The gesture lasted only seconds, but it silenced everyone. Cameras lowered. Even the children stopped talking. From her seat, a little boy whispered to his mother, "Mom, are they saluting her?" And they were. Laura watched through the glass, her throat tightening. The call sign Valkyrie. 7 had once represented everything she'd lost. The missions, the pain, the friends who never made it home. But in that sky, high above the world, she realized it also represented everything she had stood for. Courage, loyalty, and the bond between those who fly. The captain turned toward her. "I've flown for 20 years, he said softly, "and I've never seen anything like that." Laura smiled faintly. "Neither have I." When the plane landed in Seattle, passengers erupted into applause. Not because of the landing, but because of her. Someone had found her name online. By the time she reached the gate, whispers had spread. She used to be a fighter pilot. She saved an entire squadron once. She's the reason those Raptors were up there. Outside, as she walked down the jet bridge, 3 military personnel stood waiting. One of them saluted. "Ma'am," he said, "the Air Force wanted to thank you for everything you did, and for reminding us that heroes don't fade. They just fly higher." Laura nodded, tears threatening to fall. "Tell them, Valkyrie, 7 says thank you." She didn't stay for photos or interviews. She disappeared again into the crowd, just as quietly as she had arrived. But for everyone who shared that flight, her story became legend. And that, my friends, is why courage never really retires. It hides in ordinary faces, waiting for one small moment to reveal its strength. You just watch Grow for Justice, the channel that tells stories of honor, humanity, and truth. If this story touched your heart, don't leave without subscribing, because we have more stories like this that deserve to be heard. And one more thing. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I want to know how far these stories are traveling. Thank you for watching. Stay brave. Stay true. Grow for justice, because every story of courage deserves to fly.